I'm here in Medjugorje. We are at Restaurant Victor's, and I'm with, what's your name?
Jim.
Jim, where are you from, Jim?
Recently I'm from British Columbia, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Montana originally.
And you said you came 4 or 5 times here, or?
Something like that. I've lost count.
Why did you come the first time?
I just heard about it. It's got a really respect for the Mother of Jesus, and I just heard a lot of stories of things going here. Sounded exciting, so need to go check it out.
Yeah. And you checked it out, and what happened?
Well, that wasn't the first time. I came here with my wife, and she was. My wife was an interesting story too.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that too later,
she was blind, and she said we met on a blind date, and we've been on a blind date ever since.
How beautiful.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was early on, but now I got a phone call from my daughter, and she said, "Can you do something about my son? We knew he was doing everything wrong, but I didn't know anything about it." And I said, "Oh, what's the trouble?" She said, he hit me the other day. Just really broke her heart, And so I said, do you think he'd go to Medjugorje? And said, well, you can sure ask him. So I asked him, he phoned him, he was clear across the U.S. from me, and he was pretty excited, free trip to Europe, why not?
Yeah.
Like adventure, he wants to go swimming in the oceans over here. So we did, we set up and come over here, and he kind of disappeared from our group. He's not a Catholic. His mother was Catholic, but not advanced in it. But he just kind of disappeared from our group. We got a group of about 20 of us, I guess, came here. And we were kind of worried about him. The first night he disappeared too, but he went down to some bar, and I gave him heck for that. But the next time he just left us, and we're all back at the residence we were staying at, and having a good time there. And he said, "Boy," he said, "that was really interesting." He said, "I came across these big lineups." He didn't know what it was about. It's for confession, He didn't know what confession was. So he thought there was something there. He'd get in the lineup, and check it out. So he said, he said, it was so neat. He said, he just asked me to talk about things, and he said, I just unloaded my whole life on him. He said, for a priest. And he said, I just told him everything. And when he got through, the priest looked at his watch, and he said, "That's a record for me, 2 hours."
Look there, Jim, the drink is coming for you.
Oh, very good. That's what I need.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's the good service here at Restaurant Victor's. Come to Victor's, and you are in Medjugorje. And so, 2 hours of confession, and what did your grandson say?
And we didn't know what was going on in his life, really, but what the priest told him, he says, he unloaded to his priest that he was a heroin addict. None of us knew that. He kept it hidden well. And the priest told him, "You've got to go home and tell your folks about it, do something about this. It's going to kill you." And so he did that, and of course everybody, parents and everybody, was just totally shocked. They had no idea that what his big problem was, And so they got him to medical help, and through the Suboxone, I think they put him on. Suboxone that takes the place of heroin, and he's clean now. It's been a few years,
How beautiful! Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank
that was it blew us away, to find this out, and how he going to this priest, he didn't even know what confession was.
I think this is for all the people now who are listening and who have addictions. I had in some ways some too, and we are ashamed of these things. But you don't have to be ashamed. Go to a priest, talk to somebody. I did. I went to a priest.
Yeah.
I was ashamed for 20 years things. And I even went 40 kilometers away to another priest because I was so ashamed to say it again. But you will get the help. He got the help in Medjugorje.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What a story. Keep on going, Jim.
Yeah, well, now he has a job working for some big corporation guy. He's got some big corporations, and he's the right-hand man for that guy, and you just totally trust him with everything. Just, so I don't know what the future is, but it's been great lately.
This should be encouragement for people.
Yeah,
no?
yeah, right.
Life can change and will change.
And he's way better off than he was when he was on drugs.
And that is Medjugorje, no?
Yeah.
The confession in Medjugorje. And you are a cradle Catholic. If somebody's listening now, maybe scared to go to confession, what would you tell these people about confession? What is the beauty of it?
It's the best thing you can do. You know, it's so powerful, and so there's no need to be afraid of it because nobody knows. You know, the priest is taking a vow; he can't mention a word about it. You know, I can, but the priest can't. And, so he hit the right one,
and it's liberating, no? It sets you free because you can talk about, bring it to light. You know? And you pray the Rosary. Jim, how is that for you? The Rosary, you pray the Rosary?
I do.
Why?
Well, I always prayed it because my mother got me praying it, and then after Medjugorje I started doing it a lot. I was here one time, and the Blessed Mother told the visionaries that the world is getting worse. Said, I want you to pray 3 rosaries a day instead of 1. And at that time I hadn't convinced any kids to come. But so I started praying the rosary 3 times a day, and within a week I got phone calls from 5 of my grandkids saying, we want to go to Medjugorje. Gee, that's a kind of a miracle, because I didn't even mention it to them, you know. They called me, and so I brought a bunch of them over here. And
wow.
They had a great trip.
And they liked it?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had a great time here.
And what is the beauty for you of Medjugorje? What would you tell people? What is so beautiful about you?
The conversions, you know, of people's hearts, I think is the most important thing that I see anyway.
You saw it, no? You saw it with your grandson?
Yeah. And it looks like, unless things change, that he's turning out to be a pretty decent kid. Not a kid anymore, I guess.
Wow. And you know that a lot of people here in Medjugorje, they look for their vocation to find the right partner in life. You were on a blind date for a very long time, no? Beautiful. It sounds very nice that you have a nice relationship. Relationship. Can you tell how people find their vocation, how they find a good Catholic woman? How should they do with marriage? What would you give us some advice?
Well, it really helps if you've got the faith. You know, they both have the same faith, or got chances of turning that way. Because if you don't, it's a kind of a block. You know, it can separate you. My dad was a dedicated atheist. My mother was a dedicated Catholic.
Oh.
And
what a combination!
Yeah, right. And we couldn't talk about God or Jesus at home. He'd get really angry. And his dad was the same way. I call them atheist preachers.
Wow.
That's what I call them, you know. And it's easy to get an atheist preacher. All you have to have is to get the license is to have a 6-pack of beer, go down to the local pub, and in 15 minutes they can make you an atheist preacher too. Or these guys got to go to school for 8 years, you know, become a regular preacher. My dad was, you know, he had that probably. He's a very nice man. We loved him a lot, but he had that hang-up, you know.
Anger?
But I was going to university at the time. I came home from university to see him. He lived on a big piece of property that he had in the wilderness. He liked the wilderness. And he was just totally in shock when I got there. He had a hard time expressing what he said. I saw something, and he said it was more real than standing here telling you about. But he said he found himself in heaven. He said he was wide awake, but it was like a dream, but he was wide awake. He knew everything was going on, you know. And he saw this vision of heaven, and he described it in detail. You know, he said there's colors in heaven that don't exist on earth.
Yes.
And I've heard other people say the same thing.
Yes,
You've heard that
kind
too?
of,
Yeah.
I saw it myself
Oh,
in
you
a
did?
dream.
Yeah.
You can't describe it what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't make up a new color. You have to see something in order to know what it looks like. You can't
Yes.
make one up in your mind. You know, it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
We aren't built that
Whoa,
way.
And yeah.
But he was just very excited, and he just, you know, he just wanted to tell me all about it before. You know, he mentioned God, and he's out of the conversation. But he was leading the conversation. But it just changed him completely overnight. You know,
He became a Catholic.
I don't think he ever did become Catholic, but he would live by himself in the wilderness. You know, and he was for sure changed his attitude about God.
I believe happened to me in a certain way. This kind of a dream, you know. And so, what would you tell them? Like, so it's better like if two people come together who have the same faith, like Catholic faith, it's easier. Was that in your case like that? Is your wife or with the blind date?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I told you we met on a blind date. We've been on a blind date ever since.
Yeah.
But yeah. She wasn't a Catholic, but she always was interested in the Catholic Church, so you know. She became one shortly before we got married.
She became Catholic. Wow.
So,
and looking back, she died?
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Yeah.
And what would you tell young people these days? You know, we are so confused about marriage. What is the responsibility, the duties? You know, we are kind of brainwashed by the media, by society. What would you tell young people about a Catholic marriage? How to sustain a marriage, how to stay together?
Well, that's a real good way to do it, to become a Catholic, and you know, because it's a forever thing for Catholics.
I believe so too, more and more.
Yeah, you don't get divorced in the Catholic Church.
Yes, because you forgive, you learn to forgive. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a great thing. We've had some great priests in our life. And, yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. My family, of course, they were all practicing Catholics under my mother's guidance, but we didn't talk about God around him. But after his conversion, we were able.
You were, yes, beautiful.
Yeah, he would start the conversation.
He would start. He got the passion. He got it too.
Yeah.
His own Medjugorje moment, touching of heaven. No?
Well, I think it's like Saint Monica, you know, prayed for her son for 40 years, and that's the same as my mother.
That's what I thought when you told me the story. Like, your mother was praying.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. It was pretty rough on her those years.
So beautiful. And you have a favorite saint?
See, do I have a favorite saint? I guess there's so many I like. Saint Francis was pretty favorite, yeah.
Why?
Oh, I guess because he was kind of an outdoors kind of person, you know. And with that, I'm a veterinarian, and that's probably part of it.
Yes.
So I was always with animals, you know.
And you choose your passion. That was your passion, no? I can see you're a man of passion, of truth. Unbelievable. And you have a favorite Bible scripture?
That's going to take me some time to think of that.
That's fine.
I don't know. I like them all.
That's the right answer. The whole Bible. That's the answer.
Yeah.
And at the end, what would you tell people? Why come to Medjugorje?
Well, I guess it gives you a boost in your faith. You know, you always hear about the Blessed Mother and stories and so forth, but she's so close to you when you come here. You know, you get reminded on every corner, you know, the Blessed Mother is all right.
And we need her. You need her too. I need her desperately in my life.
Yeah, we sure do.
That's what our Protestant friends don't understand. They miss out of something. No?
Yeah, it's too bad, because if they would read the Bible, it shows how important she is. You know, where is it in the Bible? It says, when she talked to her, Elizabeth. What's the one that always bothered me? Oh, she said, from this day forward, all generation will call me blessed.
Blessed.
And that's heresy in the Protestant language,
Yes.
But that's in the Bible.
That's in the Bible, and they say solo scriptura, only Bible. They should properly read the Bible.
Yeah, and you knew it sola scriptura was a false thing, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Martin Luther made that up.
Yes, it's a lie.
Yeah, and
it's a complete lie. You have to be honest what this is.
Yeah.
It's a brainwashing. They're brainwashed.
Yeah. If you get the Greek Bible, where the Bible was printed, originally, it's not in there. He had to add it there to get it.
I went to a Protestant church and they hand out Bibles. They say sola scriptura.
Yeah.
Until I found out in the Protestant Bible they just take books out. They just what they don't like they take it out.
Yeah.
They take out the phrase, faith without works is no faith. That's taken out of their Bible.
Yeah.
And it's a lie. It should be in there.
Yeah.
Because Our Lady did act in faith. She would be stoned in her time. No?
Oh yeah.
She risked and she acted. Then you are in faith. No? You are just.
Yeah.
And you will be called blessed. You will become a saint.
Yeah.
No?
It's like they really criticize the real presence in the Eucharist,
Yeah.
But if they would read John 5, it's plain and simple.
Yeah.
Jesus told me, unless you eat my body and drink my blood, you won't have life in you. And they have to bypass that because some of them left him. And he could have said, well, wait just a minute, I was only kidding, But there it is in the Bible.
Yeah. He didn't kid.
No.
Because all the people left.
Yeah.
Only the 12 stayed. That's everybody understands that.
Yeah.
But he meant it real. No?
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Jim. This is amazing. Yeah, say, Jim.
Pardon?
This is beautiful what you say, because this is the truth. This is sola scriptura.
Yeah.
And if a Protestant looks at all these denominations, for 40,000 denominations, Protestant, if there's sola scriptura, there's only one church, and we call ourselves church, and we are one. Everything around the same. The world is the same. Sola scriptura. It's the Catholic Church with sola scriptura. No?
Yeah, it's a kind of interesting concept if you can get it across to people.
Yes. But he opened up a way, a denomination for angry people with the Catholic Church, Protestants, because they all have something against the Catholic Church, and they have something against the Church which Christ founded. We have to be clear about what this is, no?
I guess they have to do that in order to keep their people into their church. They have to.
And you made the experience. I went to Protestant church, and they all ask for 10% of your money. If you go to a Catholic church, they put the money around, and nobody tells you have to put money in the basket. We're all free, Wow. What can I say, Jim? This is so beautiful. Do you have anything else you would like to say?
I'd probably have to think about it a while. That's uppermost of my mind since I got to Medjugorje, because it was such a grace to have that happen.
What happened to you in Medjugorje?
Well, I guess it just deepened my faith mostly, And when I started doing the Rosary more often. I've got a big poodle dog. He's about 70 pounds, and I take him hiking every day for about 2 miles, and that's really been good for my health because I'm rather ancient. I just turned 90.
Wow, beautiful of the spirit. He's a Catholic dog, That's nice. That is
but it's been good, so I can get 3 rosaries in while I'm hiking with him,
It's just, oh my God, this is a saintly dog. Listening to Our Lady all day long.
He's doing other things besides praying. But
and what is the Rosary prayer, the beauty of it for you? Why do you pray it?
Well, it just gets results is one big reason.
Yes.
And the Blessed Mother asked us to pray 3 rosaries a day, And before it used to, pray the rosary every day in Fatima, and said the world is getting a more dangerous place, and you need to pray more.
And you also saw results. You had petitions through the rosary prayers, solutions came. Me too. That's what Santa Lucia from Fatima says. With the rosary, you get the answer to you pray the rosary. I think it's Padre Pio or Santa Lucia from Fatima who says, through the rosary prayer, you get the answer to every question you have. you have made the same experience.
Yeah. I need to go to Fatima someday because I really respect it. You know, I used to have a bookstore and I really pushed Fatima stories. You know.
I went to Lourdes, I passed through Fatima, but at the time I was a paper Catholic. I said, this is Fatima, this at the bus station, and I passed on.
Oh yeah.
Today I would get off the bus.
Oh yeah. Were you born Catholic?
I was born, raised Catholic, yeah, and I'm very grateful for the foundations my parents put in me, but I went off into the world, totally off. But the prayers of my grandmother and my mother, who all prayed the Rosary, brought me back. I'm convinced by that. They're all dead now, but I'm convinced these prayers brought me back. And I'm very grateful that they prayed.
Oh, yeah.
Keep on praying. You know, the prayers of the grandparents are very powerful. Right?
Yeah.